Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, but then you realized that you couldn't move? Your limbs felt heavy. You tried to scream, but no sound would come out of your mouth. And then you felt a dark presence standing over you. If you've never experienced this before, count yourself lucky. Because if you have, well, let me just say you know what it's like to stare death in the face. But there's hope, because today we're going to be exploring something called sleep paralysis, why it happens, and how you can use it to actually help you instead of hurting you. So stay till the end. This is one story you don't want to miss. Welcome to my channel. What is sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis is a temporary inability to move or speak that happens when you either falling asleep or waking up. You might feel like you're in control of your body, but you can't move or make a sound. It can be terrifying, but it's usually harmless and goes away on its own. So why does this happen? Well, there are two main reasons. The first is something called the REM cycle. When you fall asleep, your brain goes through different cycles. One of them is called REM, which stands for rapid eye movement. During REM sleep, your eyes move quickly from side to side under your eyelids. That's where the name comes from. But it's not just your eyes that are moving. Your brain is also very active during REM sleep. In fact, it's almost as active as when you're wide awake. That's why you might dream during REM sleep. It's your brain trying to make sense of all the random activity going on in your head. Now here's the thing. During REM sleep, your body's paralyzed. That's not a bad thing though. It actually helps you sleep better. After all, nobody wants to be kicking around in their sleep. But sometimes your brain wakes up during REM sleep before your body does. That's when you get sleep paralysis. You're awake, but your body is still totally unable to move. You might feel like you're trapped in your bed, unable to move or speak. And that's exactly what sleep paralysis feels like. The second reason is something called dream rebound. Let me explain. When you wake up from a dream, your brain tries to make sense of what just happened. It does this by releasing chemicals that trigger memories and emotions. These chemicals are the same ones that are released when you're having a dream. So sometimes your brain gets confused and starts releasing them, even though you're awake. That's when you get something called a hypnagogic hallucination. These are vivid sensory experiences that happen when you're falling asleep. They can include seeing, hearing, feeling, or even smelling things that aren't really there. For example, you might see a dark figure standing at the foot of your bed, or hear whispers in the darkness. Some people even report feeling a presence in the room with them. Hypnagogic hallucinations are harmless, but they can be scary. After all, who wouldn't be freaked out by seeing a shadowy figure while lying in bed trying to sleep? But there is a way to make them go away. All you have to do is focus on your breathing. If you take deep breaths and count to 10, the hallucination should go away. Okay, so now we know what causes sleep paralysis and how to make it go away. But what if we could use sleep paralysis for good? What if we could use it to have better dreams? Well, it turns out we can. Let's start with a little science. When you're having a normal dream, your brain is in REM sleep. But when you're having a lucid dream, your brain is in a different state called paradoxical sleep. That sounds weird, right? Well, it is. But it's also important because it means that your brain is awake while your body is asleep. That's why you can remember lucid dreams so much better than normal dreams. You literally have both states of consciousness recorded in your brain. And here's the best part. You can control your lucid dreams. That's right. If you practice lucid dreaming, you can actually have some pretty incredible experiences. For example, you might fly around the world or meet new friends or explore magical lands. Lucid dreaming is a lot of fun, but it's also a great way to learn new skills. If you want to become a better writer, for example, you could try lucid dreaming. That's because when your brain is in paradoxical sleep, it's much more creative. It's able to come up with all sorts of new ideas and solutions to old problems. Some people even use lucid dreaming to overcome fears. If you're afraid of public speaking, for example, you could try lucid dreaming. You could imagine yourself giving a speech to a large crowd and then think about how it would feel to be standing in front of a huge audience. By practicing lucid dreaming, you'll be able to get over your fear of public speaking in no time. Alright, so now we know what lucid dreaming is and how it's different from regular dreaming. But what does this have to do with sleep paralysis? Well, it turns out that sleep paralysis is often a gateway to lucid dreaming. That's because when you're experiencing sleep paralysis, your brain is in a state between wakefulness and sleep. It's kind of like being in limbo. Your brain doesn't know whether to be awake or asleep yet, so it just kind of stays in this weird in-between state. When you're in this state, your brain is extremely suggestible. That's why lucid dreaming works so well. You can literally convince your brain to believe anything you want. For example, if you tell yourself that you're flying, your brain will believe you, and you'll feel like you're really flying. So how do you take advantage of this? Well, it's simple. All you need to do is convince your brain that you're already dreaming. Once you do that, you'll enter a lucid dream. There are all sorts of ways to induce lucid dreams. Some people use reality checks, while others use something called the wild, or the weightless, induced lucid dream. There's also the mild or the mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. but honestly, they all work about the same. The most important thing is that you believe that you're dreaming. So if you're ever stuck in sleep paralysis, don't panic. Just try to relax and enjoy the experience. Who knows? You might just find yourself in a lucid dream. But wait, there's more. Lucid dreaming isn't all fun and games. It can actually be dangerous. That's because when you're lucid dreaming, your brain is in a state of paradoxical sleep. That means that you might not be aware of what's going on around you. You could easily miss something important, like an incoming train or a house on fire. It's also important to remember that lucid dreaming is a form of escapism. When you lucid dream, you're literally running away from your problems. That's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's nice to get away from your problems. But if you do it too much, you'll just end up making them worse. So how do you avoid these dangers? Well, it's simple. Just remember that you're dreaming. If you can do that, you'll be fine. But if you start to forget that you're dreaming, you could get hurt. That's why it's important to set boundaries for yourself when you're lucid dreaming. Decide in advance how long you want to lucid dream for and stick to it. Don't let yourself escape into a dream world for too long. Otherwise, you could miss something important in the real world. Sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming are two fascinating phenomena that have been studied for centuries. While they can be scary at times, they also offer us a unique opportunity to explore the power of our minds. By understanding sleep paralysis and lucid dreaming, we can learn to control our dreams and use them to our advantage. So the next time you find yourself stuck in the middle of the night, don't be afraid to embrace the experience. You never know what you might learn about yourself or discover about the amazing world of dreams. So have you ever experienced sleep paralysis or a lucid dream? Share it below. Sometimes the scariest places are the ones inside your own mind. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell for more insightful psychology videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.